Hello everyone, welcome to my vlog. First of all, I would like to wish you guys all fantastic Halloween. I'm sure some of you guys are going to be extremely busy with your kids tonight, so I hope you guys are going to have a lot of fun. So today's vlog, I would like to switch a little bit from all the technical stuff and talk about a little bit my personal experience with photography. I've been doing this for over 15 years now, and I would like to share with you some of those things which I had to overcome to actually survive that many years and still enjoying it, and basically still being in this industry, which is, I'm sure, for some of you guys, including myself, it's not easy task. It's a lot of work. And actually I was thinking about some of those things which I don't want to say struggle, but I have to basically deal with every single day, and I have to force myself to overcome some of those things and just keep battling them. And it's even, I've been doing this for so many years, is still something which I cannot really overcome, because it is what it is, and then there's a lot of factors which influence us, and I want to talk about it a little bit. So I came up with a list of 9 things which I had to overcome, and actually I had to deal with them every single day as a photographer. And I think knowing those things and address them, and actually knowing what we have to do in order to basically deal with them, that makes our life easier. I'm not saying, you know, you can actually kind of get them done in no time. It's ongoing battle. So let me talk about it a little bit. So the first one is the gear. And this is something which I'm not saying the gear is a problem or something which we have to struggle with, but I want to talk about it the way we think about the gear, and this is actually the biggest problem sometimes. I'm sure most of us always have those thoughts that, well, if I would have that lens, or I would have that body, or I would have that piece of equipment, that would make me way better photographer. Which most of the time it's not true. There's cheap ways of dealing with some of those challenges, and we can basically overcome a lot of those things. But for whatever reason in our mind, we actually put those thoughts in our head that, you know, we need to have certain things. Which in my experiences, I remember when I started, that was biggest challenge, because the one thing what I was doing, I was really slowing down with what I do, because I was scared. I was thinking that, well, if I don't have that lens, you know, I'm not gonna shoot this, or I'm not gonna take this project because I'm not ready, and I don't have enough equipment, and I don't have the right equipment, and I need to have better stuff. So I have to say that sometimes we really have to pump the brakes and say, look, you know, how I can challenge this and how I can actually make this work with the stuff what I have. So that's something which I have to say is we have to think about it, and we have to somehow just again make a step back and think about it, what I can do with the stuff what I have, and don't allow yourself to pretty much slow yourself down, or, you know, ditch projects, or, you know, saying that, oh, I'm not gonna I gotta wait for another few months till I'll get this stuff. No, don't really do that, because this is something which is a dead end, and it's not gonna make you successful, and there's always something which we might need. There's never-ending story of that, but it's important to kind of, like, you know, trying to find different ways to overcome some of those challenges. Okay, so the next one what I would like to talk about is personality, and this is something which I've been struggling quite a bit. There's few reasons, and I'm sure some of you guys know who you guys are, and you guys know what you guys capable of. But for me, coming to Canada, was a big challenge. Not knowing the language, not knowing the culture. Plus, on the top of that, my personality, I'm a really shy person. Like, I don't like crowds. I don't like spend of tons of people. I'm trying to kind of, like, I don't know. I'm not saying I'm scared, but I prefer to work with people one-on-one. But whenever I'm in, let's say, crowd of people, I'm not the loudest one. I'm always trying to kind of be reserved and trying to kind of, like, I don't know, be quiet. So that's something which it's a challenge for me. I have to say that I have to overcome some of those things, that to open up more to people and try to talk to them and actually be I don't know, more open and more outgoing, which sometimes it's extremely difficult for me. I'm not gonna lie. We all know that if someone is, I don't know, really outgoing person and is really open and it's not shy, those are the guys who are more successful, and it's much easier for them to getting clients, getting projects. So this is something which I have to really make sure I'm working on it, and I'm trying to kind of like well, I don't want to say that I want to cheat and fake myself to be someone who I'm not, but it's quite a challenge to force myself sometimes to do things which I'm feeling not comfortable doing. So that's something which I'm sure all of us somehow have to deal with. Okay, so the next one thing I would like to talk about is ego, and this is a big one. Most of photographers have a big ego. This is something which, I don't know, I deeply believe this is the way our brain is wired, and most of us deep inside, we have that like strong ego, which is the force to do things and just challenge ourselves and then try to kind of push those things forward. But I also found that we have to have that ego under control. It's not easy thing sometimes, but if you let this thing go and put this whole thing on the loose, that might be really destructive. I've been there. I remember when I started photography, my ego was like, I don't know, up to the roof. And when I look back, I was just like, what the hell I was doing back in the days when I was just like really, I don't know, thinking I'm the best photographer on the planet, and like you get this like weird feeling about yourself, which sometimes can take over. And I think the best place to see that is internet. Like some of those guys really you can see that the ego is talking, and there's, I don't know, sometimes it's not a knowledge, it's not experience, it's something which just kind of like, I don't know, make them look like they know everything and they're best people on the planet and the best photographers on this earth. And then it's just like, okay, just slow down here, because this is really destructive and it's not gonna putting you in a good light. So this is all about the ego, and let's move on to the next one. So the next one, what I would like to talk about is criticism. This is also something really big, and I remember back in the days, for me, criticism was something really destructive. This is something which I couldn't deal with, was hitting me on the very personal level, and this is something which we have to learn how to deal with. And then the way I actually look at it depends who is the person who is criticizing you. If you're getting kind of criticisms for someone who have no experience or trying to kind of prove you wrong, and there's a lot of trolls out there who do that purposely, then I basically let this go. I don't even get into discussions. I don't even argue with those people. I don't have conversation, because I know those people, they don't actually, it's not going to take you anywhere. But if I get a, constructive criticism from someone who have experience, someone who I'm inspired by, then it's a completely different story. And I'm sure you guys noticed that those guys who really achieved a lot, and they really experience, and they give you really well, criticism which really can make your work better and can make improve what you're doing. They actually approach you completely different way, and those are the guys which I'm actually looking up to, and I love to get a criticism. But you know, you have to learn that, and you have to somehow filter those things in the process to make sure that, you know, you actually just only getting and actually taking personally, and you taking criticism from people who actually you can say they can kind of make a difference in your work and make a difference in the stuff what you do. So just try to kind of be careful, and again, like, you don't feel that, you know, if someone who have no experience going after you kind of destroy your day, and then I don't know, just make you feel bad, and then, you know, just kind of get you kind of going mental about those things, because this is not worth it. Okay, so let's talk about the next one. So the next one is knowledge. This is something which, again, I have to say that photography, I think every industry is kind of similar. There's no way you actually can learn those things and you're done. This is something which you have to constantly push forward. You have to constantly gain some information, some knowledge. You have to keep finding new stuff and keep finding and expanding that knowledge constantly. This is not something which has the end. It's something which is just kind of ongoing thing, and then you have to really put a lot of attention to it. And again, when we're starting, sometimes we think we know everything, but that's not the truth. And I was really neglecting those things. I remember back in the days, like, because I had few successful shoots, I was like, oh, well, I know everything, but that's not true. Like, when you have to really just keep, I would say, pushing and reminding yourself that there's always something to learn. There's always someone who knows something which you don't know. And make sure that you trying to find those information, apply them in your work, and then you see progress, and you see success, and you see that your photography is basically getting better every single day. Okay, so let's talk about the next one. So is experience. This is similar to knowledge, but let's put a little bit different twist on it. Experience, I found in photography, is everything. Those are the things which we actually worrying along the way, and we have to, again, try and push different things and get new experiences, dealing with people, dealing with different things, always bring us then to new experiences. The more you shoot, the more you work, the more you do, you gaining new stuff, new experiences, and that's what makes you actually better photographer. You know, we also have those bad experiences, but the important thing is that I don't really believe in failure. I really believe that, well, I don't want to say I don't believe in failure. I don't take failures as something which is negative, or this is something which is like, you know, end of the day and it's like end of the world. I'm trying to learn from those things, and even I have a bad experiences, and sometimes I know, you know, the gut is telling me, okay, this is not going to be good. But again, you know, sometimes it's worth it to go through those bad experiences, so you gain those things with those experiences for the better, and then you're not going to make those mistakes in the future. So what I want to say when it comes to experiences, try everything, try new things, try work with different people, try everything what can get you something new, something interesting, and something which the experience is going to make you a better photographer. Okay, so let's jump to the next one. The next one is hard work, and we kind of like a running around kind of the same subject, but they're a little bit different. So when it comes to the hard work, I found that basically there is no progress if you're not going to put work into this. And I know generally we don't like to work hard, and generally, you know, like, we try to kind of make everything easy, but I deeply believe that hard work is one of those things which really we have to, I don't know, implement in our work and overcome and force ourselves to do as much as possible, because again, that's what's going to make us better photographers. The one thing what I want to mention when it comes to the hard work is that we like to kind of get comfortable with the stuff what we do, and then sometimes we get some kind of system working, and we're getting the results and everything is perfect, and then we love outcome, but that's kind of plateau. This is the time where you just kind of moving backwards, because if you don't try new things and you don't kind of put some additional work and hard work into this, it's something which it's you're not gonna see the progress. You're not gonna see that you're moving forward with the stuff what you do, and feeling uncomfortable and feeling kind of like, okay, I'm doing too much and I don't know where this is going. Maybe this is the feelings we have at that moment, but when we look in the back, then basically we see, wow, I've learned something, and then this is something which makes me better photographer. And I remember, believe it or not, this is kind of ironic, but on all those shots or photo shoots which I had when I was struggling the most, or I had some issues, have some huge challenges, those are the photo shoots where I was getting the best results, and then I was getting some really interesting new things. So I remember during the shoot was a nightmare, but afterwards you just look back and oh my god, this is incredible. This is something which I think when you actually put your mind in really kind of hard work, and you put so much pressure on it, then your brain kind of goes to some kind of, I don't know, different dimension or something like this, where there's new juices flowing in, and you are able to create something very unique and different, and something which you're going to be really happy and proud of it. So think about it, and then don't kind of get that oh, everything looks kind of neat and everything looks kind of cool. Let's keep that way. Don't do that. Make sure that you really pushing yourself to the limit, and you just kind of forcing yourself to do things which you feel uncomfortable with. Okay, so the next one is the plan, and this is something which I think I've been struggling with for years, and I think I still need to kind of put more attention to it, because in order to make a progress as a photographer, you really need to have a plan, and you can adjust the plan throughout the process, but you need a plan. And most of us forgets about it, because if you don't have a plan, you don't really know where you're going. You basically just kind of going in the dark, and you're trying this and trying that, and you really don't know what the hell is going on. But if you have a plan and you know what your goal is and where you're going and what's your destination, then it's much easier. And I'm talking about the little plan, daily things what you have to do, and the long-term plan, where you want to be in a year or 10 years or whatever. So it's kind of important to have that stuff in place. And then the way I like to do that, I'm writing stuff down. I have a piece of paper and I'm trying to write everything down, what I want to do, and basically you have a plan, and you don't know where this is going to take you, but at least you have something in your hands which you can kind of stick to it, and you can follow through and make sure that you get the things done which you want to have done, and then you will see way better results at the end of the day, that just working without any solid and any plan whatsoever. Okay, and the last one which I want to talk about is adapting to the change. And this is something which I'm sure a lot of us struggle big time, And this is something which I think is the biggest challenge. This is why I left this to the end. The world we live in today is a constant battle, because every few months, every year, everything just drastically change. And most of us, we have some kind of system put in place. We have some ideas, we have some, I would say, habits. What do we do to manage our business, our photography things, and everything? What do we do? But those things constantly change. The social media is basically turning upside down every few months. The technology is changing all the time. The way people communicate is changing. Like, everything is basically changing all the time, and we have to really pay attention to what's going on around us and how we can adapt to this. And that's why I deeply believe that so many photographers struggle these days. And I'm one of them. Like, I'm not saying I'm like super successful. I'm pushing forward. I'm trying to do my best, but we really have to pay attention to what's going on around us, and pay attention to everything around, to make sure we can somehow adopt those things and put in place in our life and in our business and everything what we do. Because if we don't change and we don't adopt it, then we're gonna be out of the boat, like, in the no time. And I see that constantly, like, even talking to my fellow photographers and talking to people I with the same industry or different even industries, which they had some kind of system, and this whole thing is falling apart. And because they don't want to change, or they feel comfortable where they are, but they see that this business is kind of going down, or doesn't kind of make any progress. So and again, adopting to change is not an easy thing. It's really frustrating. We're going into territory which we don't know and we don't understand sometimes, and we basically have a really difficult time to somehow make this work, because we kind of don't understand how we can even approach this. And again, this is something which I have to say, this is something which we have to battle every single day, and we have to find new ways, and we have to learn new things, and there's always something on the go which we have to face it and basically deal with. So yeah, this is something which I don't even have a straight answer how to actually overcome some of those things. So I hope that vlog was interesting. I know I was bouncing all over the place a little bit, but those are the things, again, which are mine, actually things which I need to kind of deal and overcome on the daily basis. And that's something which I have to say sometimes I struggle with, and I need to work on this. So I'm sure most of you guys have, hopefully, or some of you, I'm sure, have similar things on the plate. So please share those things with me. If there is anything else which you guys think that might be interesting to add to the list, I would definitely love to hear that. Thank you for watching. This vlog was a little bit longer than I actually planned to do, but sometimes it's what it is. So we'd like to wish you guys, again, fantastic Halloween. Thank you for watching, and I would be looking forward to hear from you with any comments, any suggestions, anything you guys would like to share with me. So stay tuned, and I will chat with you guys very soon. Bye bye.